many producers that I've sat with, even though they were the beat makers, even though I'm not making the beat,
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, love that, but this section, the where the chords are going in that section is kind of weird. Or sometimes I'll get on the piano like, what about if we put this chord here? Why don't we use this part of it instead of that part? And vice versa. Sometimes when I'm writing a song to somebody's beat, or they'll be like, that's dope. However, that's too much, or that's not clear, or let's take this part of this and then put in this part here. So like it's a healthy involvement, but not stepping on each other's toes, so to speak.
I guess we could bring up one producer who doesn't get enough credit for his craft is Dave Hall.
Yeah.
How is because he's very does very rare to you ever see him,
Yes.
and he's known for his work from Michael to Madonna, part of the Untouchables. What was it like working with him on If You Love Me?
Well, it was a big break for me. It was a big break to get invited to just even have a meeting with him. By the time I was asked to meet with him by a woman named Cheryl Butler, who worked at Untouchables, who heard some of my music. I went to an ASCAP meeting. I met this woman named Kim Bostic, I think was her name, who worked for Warner Brothers. Kim said, come take a meeting. And then Cheryl Butler was actually at the meeting with Kim. And Kim was like, gave my number to Cheryl. Was like, I heard your songs the other day and I like what you do. I want to take it to the office and see if we can get you with some of our producers. I was like, wow. Because she wasn't even the person I was intending to impress. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But it kind of ended up getting to her radar. And then she played them for Dave, and Dave was like, Dave heard your songs. And, by this time, I didn't have any songs written for anybody.
Oh, so that was your first.
Yeah, these were just demos I did of like, just songs with more up and coming songwriters. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But then she presented some of his stuff, some of my stuff to him, and he said, okay, Dave wants to meet with you. So I was like, oh my God, Dave wants to meet with me. And so, yes. And then he put me really on the spot. He's like, well, come back tomorrow and I'm gonna have a singer here and we can write with that singer. So I'm like, okay. So it was like being put on the spot in many levels because it's like I didn't know who the singer was. And I didn't really, at that point, before that, know how to write with another lyricist. At that
Hmm.
point, I was just either writing my own music and lyrics or writing lyrics with somebody else's music. But now this was going to be like writing with another singer, songwriter, and us working that together. So I didn't know how to do that or how that was going to go. Or nor did I know who the person was, and he didn't tell me. And then I got there, and the person was Phyllis Hyman. She had on a big, huge hat like this, way bigger than this hat. And rest in peace, it's been 30 years since she passed also. So this year was 30 years in July. So then I was really put on the spot twice with just my first professional recording session, writing situation is with Dave Hall. Like when I say professional, I don't mean that it was the first professional one because I've done done professional sessions before, but when I mean like the first producer, like who's really like in the game like that, like he's
Hmm.
like on the charts. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like if you get in good with him, he can take you over you know, over the edge.
Yeah.
So then it was not only just with him, it was with him and then with this legend Phyllis Hyman. So it's like the stakes were like on Gordon Chambers, but I had I had a lifetime of preparation of of music and honing my craft to get ready for a moment like this. You know what I mean? They say about like 10,000 hours, I think.
Hmm.
So that was that first recording session and Dave kind of like put us together, took a chance on putting us together. And then Phyllis was there and she recognized me because I used to sneak into some of her shows because she
What?
had a background singer named Eric Jones who passed away. I think it was Eric Jones. I think it was the last name was Derek. I had met him like at socially, and he knew I was a big fan, and like he would sneak me into sound. I mean, I was like, very young. I was making hardly any money, like fresh out of college. He would like sneak me in at halftime to like halftime to see the shows. So she actually recognized me.
She recognized that.
Yes. When I got there, she started cussing her manager out. And guess who's here to write songs with me with Dave Hall? that kid who's always sneaking in with a wristband to my shows that Eric is always bringing to the show, he's here, supposedly to write songs, help me write songs with Dave Hall. What was this? And
Oh,
like, this is like my first like, serious like session, quote unquote, And like Dave was like, she bugging Gordon. She's upstairs, like she went upstairs to make a call, and he starts looping this beat, and he said, "Do you hear anything? Do you hear anything to this track?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, and he started, "What do you hear?" Because he put me on the spot. I'm like, so it's letting it play for 3, 4 minutes, and the first lyric came to me was, "I can't take this confusion," because she had had a hit song called "Living in Confusion," and at the time there was confusion in the room. There was this confusion as to why was I there, to very much to her disapproval. The
wow.
confusion of me like being there, like being kind of like confused by all this, like what am I supposed to do here? So I just organically took that line and like put a melody to it. And then the chorus that came to me, I just sang the chorus. He said, "I like that." He said, "Go record that right now." While she on the phone, she gonna be on the phone for a while. He had been doing it before, so he knew that, when she had to blow off steam, that could take a process. So he had me just go ahead and record it. Now I've never recorded a thing with this man. And so he said, "I like that." He said, "Double it real quick." So the hook that I wrote down, by the time she got off the phone cussing her manager out or cussing me out via her manager, whatever, I had laid down 12 tracks.
12.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're in the studio, you double track, like Beyonce, like, sometimes her engineers have done, like podcasts and stuff or interviews where they've talked about like Beyonce might have 250 background tracks on one song. So like, 12 tracks is nothing. Like most R&B records, when you hear them, there's about 12 tracks of background
Oh,
stacks.
sorry. I thought like you recorded 12 songs in the time that
Oh,
she.
no, 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 no,
That's
no.
why I
I meant,
shouted
I
out.
meant, no, I meant 12 stacks is what I
Okay. Oh, no, yeah,
like,
okay.
melody, and then the like, the first note, the first harmony, the second harmony. It's about like
Okay.
12 stacks. I
Okay.
did like 12 stacks,
Okay. I
but
got you.
quickly, like all of this was like within 15 minutes. So she came downstairs, and she's like, "What's that?" And then she liked it. She was like, and I was kind of imitating her voice a bit, the texture of her voice. And she loved it. And she was like, "What is that? Where did that come from?" And Dave was like, "He wrote it while you up there on the phone. He came up with this. Well, while you up there beefing, he's writing. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So he's, and she said, "Well, you wrote that fast?" I said, "Yeah, it came to me." And she said, "Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. Where are you from? And how did you write that fast?" And no, you must have had that before you came. I said, "No." And so then she sat down and then she started to build on what I was talking about and some of the storyline of what was going on in her life. And started sort of tell me stories of, what she wanted to explore. And I took some of the storylines and some of the lyrics that she was coming up with. It's more story than lyrics, but
Mm.
story that I was putting into lyric format and then did the demo, sang the demo first, and then she got in there, and Phyllis is an amazing singer. Like
Mm.
once I did the demo, showed, then she heard it a couple times, and then she went up in there and just laid that vocal out.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that kind of.
And somewhere in between
us for even loving us, on which I did miss you.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay, you're okay.
They don't understand what Jonas Boys winning all spirits.
play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.